Admiral Veltara Moonwhisper stood on the bridge of her flagship and watched the stars ahead. Her long pointed ears twitched slightly as she thought about the mission. The Galactic Coalition had sent her here to check on the humans again. It had been 50 years since the first meeting went so badly. Back then, the humans seemed like angry children with metal ships and nuclear weapons. The Coalition decided to leave them alone until they grew up. Now the Council wanted to know if the humans had learned to be civilized. Veltara was not sure what she would find. The reports from 50 years ago painted humans as violent and crude. They built ugly metal ships and fought each other constantly. Most Coalition members thought humans would destroy themselves before they became a real threat. Her navigator, Zara Lynn Starweaver, looked up from her station. The young elf had silver hair that sparkled in the bridge lights. She was one of the best navigators in the fleet, and Veltara trusted her completely. "Admiral, we are approaching the edge of their solar system," Zara Lynn said softly. "Should I signal the fleet to prepare for contact?" Veltara nodded and looked at her other officers. The bridge crew was mixed like most Coalition ships. Kefira, the reptilian science officer, was running scans with her clawed hands moving quickly over the controls. Her green-scaled skin caught the light as she worked. Thaisara, the insectoid communications specialist, clicked her mandibles as she monitored human transmissions. Her compound eyes could see patterns that others missed. "What are our sensors showing?" Veltara asked Kefira. The reptilian officer paused and looked confused. Her tongue flicked out to taste the air, which she did when she was thinking hard. "Admiral, this is strange. I am detecting a large vessel approaching, but the readings do not match what we expected." Veltara frowned. The Coalition records showed that humans use primitive metal ships powered by fusion reactors. They were effective in their crude way, but nothing compared to the living bioships that the Coalition had perfected over thousands of years. Her own ship was grown rather than built. Its living hull could heal damage and adapt to threats. The crystalline formations along its surface stored energy and information in ways that metal ships could never match. "Show me the sensor data," Veltara ordered. The main screen lit up with readings that made no sense. The approaching ship was massive, but the energy signature was unlike anything in the Coalition database. It showed patterns that looked almost biological, but with power levels that suggested advanced technology. Zara Lynn checked her readings twice before speaking. "Admiral, the ship appears to be using some kind of biomechanical hybrid technology. The hull is showing signs of organic material, but there are clearly artificial components as well." Thaisara suddenly buzzed with excitement. "Admiral, I am receiving a transmission from the human vessel. They are requesting permission to approach and asking for Admiral Moonwhisper by name." Veltara was surprised. How did the humans know she was coming, and why did they know her name? The Coalition had not announced this mission to anyone outside the High Council. "Put the transmission on screen," she ordered. The screen flickered and showed a human woman in what looked like a military uniform. She had dark hair pulled back and confident eyes that seemed to look right through the screen. "Admiral Moonwhisper, I am Captain Lisa Monroe of the USS Liberty. We have been expecting your arrival and would like to welcome you to the Sol system." Veltara stared at the human captain. The woman spoke with calm authority and showed no fear or aggression. This was very different from the humans in the old reports. "Captain Monroe, how did you know we were coming?" Lisa Monroe smiled slightly. "We have had long-range sensors watching the approaches to our system for many years, Admiral. We detected your fleet 3 days ago and have been preparing for this meeting. I would like to invite you aboard our ship so we can speak properly." Before Veltara could respond, the human ship came into visual range, and every officer on the bridge stopped what they were doing to stare. The vessel that appeared on their screens was nothing like the crude metal warships from the old reports. What they saw was impossible. The ship was enormous, but it was clearly alive in some way. The hull pulsed with soft blue and green lights that moved in patterns like a heartbeat. What had once been the flat deck of an aircraft carrier now curved and flowed like the surface of some vast sea creature. Organic-looking armor plates covered sections of the hull, but they were clearly integrated with advanced technology. Kefira ran her scans again and again, but the readings stayed the same. "Admiral, this should not be possible. The humans have somehow merged their technology with bioengineering principles that are more advanced than anything in our databases." The ship is both living and artificial at the same time. Veltara could not speak for a moment. In 50 years, the humans had not just caught up to Coalition technology. They had created something that the Coalition had never imagined. The bioships of the Coalition were grown from carefully designed organisms, but this human ship looked like it had been transformed from something else entirely. Admiral Zara Lynn said quietly, "I am detecting 11 more ships of similar design at various points around the solar system. The humans have an entire fleet of these hybrid vessels." The implications hit Veltara like a physical blow. The Coalition had sent her here to check if humans were ready to join galactic civilization. Instead, she had found a species that might have surpassed them all. On the screen, Captain Monroe waited patiently for an answer to her invitation. Veltara looked at her officers and saw the same shock and confusion on their faces. Everything they thought they knew about humans was wrong. These were not the primitive warmongers from the old reports. These were innovators who had achieved something that challenged the very foundations of Coalition superiority. Captain Monroe. Veltara said finally, "I accept your invitation. I will bring a small delegation aboard your ship." Lisa Monroe nodded. "Excellent, Admiral. We look forward to showing you what humanity has accomplished in the years since our last meeting. I think you will find it quite interesting." As the transmission ended, Veltara stared at the impossible ship on her screen. The USS Liberty pulsed with life and power in equal measure. Whatever the humans had become in 50 years of isolation, it was clear that the galaxy would never be the same. Veltara chose her delegation carefully. She brought Zara Lynn because the navigator had sharp eyes for technical details. Kafira came along because her scientific knowledge would be needed to understand whatever the humans had done. The warrior, Nixandra Voidwalker, joined them because Veltara wanted someone who could assess any threats. Her dark armor and twin blades marked her as one of the elite elven fighters. The shuttle ride to the human ship was tense. Through the transparent walls, they could see the USS Liberty growing larger as they approached. The organic curves of the hull were even more impressive up close. Strange formations that looked like coral or bone jutted out at regular intervals. Soft light pulsed through veins that ran along the surface like blood vessels. "This is incredible," Kafira whispered as she took readings with her portable scanner. "The entire hull is alive, but it is also clearly artificial. I have never seen anything like this integration of organic and mechanical systems." When they reached the docking bay, Veltara was surprised again. Instead of the harsh metal corridors, she expected the walls were smooth and curved like the inside of a shell. The surfaces had a warm feel and seemed to glow with their own inner light. The air smelled clean and fresh with a hint of something, like flowers. Captain Monroe met them at the airlock with several other humans. A woman with dark skin and bright eyes stepped forward. "Admiral Moonwhisper, I am Chief Engineer Maya Rodriguez. Welcome aboard the Liberty. I hope you will find our modifications interesting." Maya led them through corridors that curved and flowed like natural caves. The walls were not flat, but followed organic patterns that somehow felt more comfortable than straight lines. Soft lighting came from the walls themselves rather than fixtures mounted on the surface. "How did you do this?" Zara Lynn asked as she ran her hand along the smooth wall. "This looks like a bioship, but your species does not have the genetic engineering knowledge. To grow vessels like this," Maya smiled and stopped at what looked like a window. Through the transparent surface, they could see into a large chamber filled with strange equipment. "We did not grow this ship, Admiral. We transformed it. The Liberty was originally one of our nuclear aircraft carriers. We found a way to merge our existing technology with biological systems." Kefira pressed against the window to get a better look. Inside the chamber, she could see what looked like a massive heart-pumping fluid through tubes that connected to the walls. Other organs that she did not recognize pulsed and moved in rhythm with the ship around them. "This should be impossible," she said. "You cannot just add biological components to a metal ship and expect them to integrate." "That is what we thought too," Maya said. "But we discovered something interesting about human neural patterns. We can interface with biological systems in ways that other species cannot. Watch this." Maya placed her hand on a panel that looked like living skin. Immediately, the walls around them began to change color. The soft blue light shifted to green and then to gold as Maya concentrated. The ship responds to our thoughts and emotions. We do not command it like a machine, we work with it like a partner. They continued the tour, and saw things that challenged everything the Coalition thought they knew about technology. In the medical bay, Dr. Claire Thompson showed them how the ship could grow any medicine or even replacement organs from its biological systems. We no longer need to carry medical supplies, she explained. The ship can create whatever we need. The fighter bays were even more impressive. Instead of metal aircraft sitting in neat rows, they saw what looked like giant seed pods attached to the walls. Amy Foster, a pilot with short blonde hair, explained how it worked. The fighters grow from these pods, she said. Each one is custom-made for its pilot and can adapt during flight. Watch. Amy touched one of the pods and it began to open. Inside was a sleek craft that looked like a cross between a fighter jet and a living creature. Wings that seemed to be made of flexible material unfolded as the craft came to life. Eyes that glowed with soft light opened along the nose. The fighters bond with their pilots, Amy continued. They learn our flying patterns and can anticipate what we need in combat. No two fighters are exactly alike because they adapt to match their human partners. Nixandra examined the biofighter with the eye of a warrior. How fast are they? And what weapons do they carry? She asked. Amy grinned and climbed into the cockpit. As soon as she settled into the seat, the fighter seemed to wake up completely. The bioluminescent patterns along its hull pulsed faster and weapons pods emerged from what had looked like smooth skin. They are faster than anything in our old fleet, Amy said, and the weapons adapt to whatever threat we are facing. The ship grows different ammunition based on what we need. The bridge was the most impressive part of the tour. Captain Monroe showed them how human officers could link directly with the ship systems through neural interfaces that looked like living coral. Traditional ships require us to give commands through computers, Lisa explained. The Liberty and I think together. I can feel the entire ship and it can feel what I need, Kate Sullivan, the communications officer, demonstrated by linking with the ship communication system. Her eyes closed and her breathing slowed as she connected with the biological network. Suddenly she was speaking in perfect Elven language with an accent that matched Veltara's own region. The ship learned your language from analyzing your transmissions, Kate said. It can now translate and communicate in real time. Thaisara clicked, her mandibles in amazement. Your ship learned our language in the few hours since we arrived. Coalition translation systems take months to achieve that level of fluency. The tour ended in what Maya called the Bio Garden. It was a large chamber filled with plants and trees that provided food and clean air for the crew. But these were not ordinary plants. They glowed with soft light, and their leaves seemed to move in response to the presence of the visitors. Everything on the ship is connected, Maya explained. The plants know we are here, and they are adjusting the air mixture to make you more comfortable. They can sense that you are not human, and they are adapting to your needs. Veltara sat on what looked like a living bench and tried to process everything she had seen. The humans had not just built advanced ships, they had created something entirely new. A true partnership between organic and artificial systems that went beyond anything the Coalition had achieved. How long did this take? She asked Maya. The first successful conversion was completed 5 years ago, Maya replied. But we have been working on the technology for decades. We started by studying fragments of bioships from our first contact. With the Coalition 50 years ago, Kefira looked up from her scanner readings. Admiral, the energy efficiency of this design is incredible. The biological systems recycle waste and provide power while the artificial components provide strength and durability. It is more efficient than pure bioships or pure mechanical ships, Zara Lynn was studying the navigation systems with obvious admiration. They have solved problems that have challenged Coalition engineers for centuries, she said quietly. This integration could revolutionize space travel. As they prepared to return to their own ship, Veltara realized that everything had changed. The humans were not primitive anymore. They had become something that the galaxy had never seen before. The question now was what the Coalition would do about it. Back aboard her flagship, Veltara called her senior officers to the conference room. The chamber was grown from living crystal that responded to emotional states by changing color. Right now, it was showing swirls of confusion and uncertainty that matched how everyone was feeling. "Report your findings," Veltara ordered, as she took her seat at the head of the curved table. Kefira spoke first. Her reptilian features were more animated than usual as she shared her excitement. "Admiral, what the humans have achieved should not be possible according to everything we know about bioengineering. They have created a true symbiosis between artificial and organic systems. Our bioships are grown from specially designed organisms. Their ships are transformed from existing structures using a process I do not fully understand." Zaralyn pulled up holographic displays of the sensor readings. They had taken aboard the Liberty. The navigation systems alone represent a breakthrough that could change how we travel through space. Their biocomputers can process quantum calculations in ways that our systems cannot match. They solved the Heisenberg navigation problem by treating space-time as a living system rather than a mathematical equation. Thysera buzzed her wings in agitation. Admiral I monitored their internal communications during our visit. The ship itself was participating in conversations between crew members. It is not just a vessel. It is a member of their crew with its own thoughts and opinions. Nyx Andra had been quiet during the reports, but now she leaned forward. "Admiral, we need to discuss the military implications. Those biofighters were unlike anything I have seen. They moved like living creatures, but had the speed and firepower of advanced combat craft. If humans have an entire fleet of these ships, they represent a significant military force." Veltara absorbed all the information before speaking. "The question before us is what we recommend to the Coalition Council. 50 years ago, we isolated humans because we thought they were too primitive and aggressive. Now we find they may have surpassed us technologically. How do we proceed?" The discussion that followed was intense. Each officer had different concerns and different recommendations. Kefira wanted immediate scientific exchange programs. She believed the Coalition could learn valuable lessons from human bio-integration techniques. Thysiara worried about the political implications of admitting that humans had achieved something the Coalition had not. Zaralyn supported gradual integration with careful monitoring. She pointed out that human technology could benefit the entire galaxy if properly shared. Nyx Andra took a different view. She believed humans should be recruited as defenders rather than treated as potential threats. While they debated Captain Monroe contacted them again. This time she had new information that changed everything. "Admiral Moonwhisper," Lisa said when the communication link opened. "I need to share something with you that affects both our peoples. Our long-range sensors have detected something approaching from beyond the galactic rim. We believe it represents a threat to all intelligent life in this galaxy." Veltara felt a chill run down her spine. "What kind of threat?" Captain Maya Rodriguez appeared beside Lisa on the screen. "Admiral, our biosensors picked up the signatures 3 years ago. Whatever is coming is massive and hostile. The energy patterns suggest they consume both organic and mechanical matter. We estimate they will reach the outer rim of the galaxy within months." Dr. Claire Thompson joined the conversation from what looked like the Liberty Medical Bay. "Admiral, we have been analyzing the data and the results are terrifying. These entities appear to convert everything they encounter into more of themselves. They are not invaders. They are transformers that remake entire worlds." Kefira leaned forward. "Do you have detailed sensor logs we could analyze?" "We will share everything we have," Lisa replied. "But Admiral, there is something else you need to know. The reason we developed biointegration technology was not to impress anyone. We did it because our scientists calculated that traditional ships would not be effective against these entities. Only vessels that can adapt and evolve in real time have a chance of survival." The implications hit Veltara like a physical blow. The humans had not just achieved something remarkable for its own sake. They had been preparing for a war that the Coalition did not even know was coming. While the Coalition had been debating whether humans were civilized enough for membership, humans had been working to save the galaxy. "Captain Monroe," Veltara said carefully, "are you saying that humanity developed this technology specifically to fight these approaching entities?" "That is correct, Admiral," Maya replied. "We have been monitoring deep space for decades. When we detected the first signs of this threat, we realized our existing military technology would not be sufficient. Biointegration was our answer to a problem we knew was coming." Amy Foster's voice came through the communication system. "Admiral, we have been running combat simulations for 2 years. Traditional ships fight in predictable patterns. These entities learn and adapt faster than any conventional military response. Only ships that can evolve during combat have shown success in our models. Zara Lynn asked the question that was on everyone's mind. Captain, why are you sharing this information with us now? Lisa Monroe looked directly at the camera. Because, Admiral, we cannot fight this threat alone. We need the coalition fleets, and we need them equipped with bio-integration technology. We are willing to share everything we have learned, but only as equal partners in the defense of the galaxy. The two. Conference room fell silent as the implications sank in. The coalition had sent Veltara to evaluate whether humans deserved membership. Instead, the humans were offering to save the coalition from a threat they had not even detected. Kate Sullivan appeared on screen beside the other humans. Admiral, we have detected your long-range patrol ships at various points around coalition space. None of them have the sensor capability to detect these entities until they are almost on top of you. By then, it will be too late to prepare effective defenses. Nixandra stood up from the conference table. Admiral, if what they are saying is true, then we are facing an extinction-level threat that we cannot see coming. Veltara made a decision. That would change the course of galactic history. Captain Monroe, I am prepared to recommend immediate emergency session of the Coalition Council. But I need proof of this threat that our scientists can verify. Understood, Admiral. Lisa replied. We are transmitting all our sensor data and analysis to your ship now. We are also prepared to take your delegation to our deep space monitoring stations so you can see the evidence for yourself. As the transmission ended, Veltara looked at her officers. The political situation had just become infinitely more complex. The coalition would have to choose between pride and survival. Either they accepted human partnership and bio-integration technology, or they faced an unknown threat with inadequate defenses. Kef-Ira begin analyzing the human data immediately, Veltara ordered. Zara Lynn prepare a course to their monitoring stations. This Ara send an encrypted message to the Coalition Council requesting an emergency session. Tell them we have discovered a critical threat to galactic security. Nixandra checked her weapons automatically. Admiral, what if the human claims about this threat are exaggerated or false? Veltara looked at the impossible bioship through the viewing port. Then we will deal with that when the time comes. But if they are telling the truth, then the galaxy needs human technology to survive. Either way, our mission has changed from evaluation to crisis management. The journey to the human deep space monitoring station took 2 days. Veltara used the time to study the data that Captain Monroe had provided. The sensor logs showed energy signatures unlike anything in Coalition databases. Whatever was approaching, the galaxy was massive and moved in patterns that suggested intelligence. Kefira worked around the clock analyzing the information. Her findings were disturbing. Admiral, these entities appear to break down matter at the molecular level and reconstruct it into something else. The energy requirements for such large-scale transformation should be impossible, but the readings are consistent across multiple sensors. The monitoring station was another marvel of human bio-integration technology. It looked like a giant flower, floating in space with sensor petals that could extend for thousands of kilometers. The structure was clearly alive, but contained technology that enhanced its natural abilities. Dr. Claire Thompson met them at the station airlock. Admiral, welcome to Deep Eye Station. This facility has been monitoring the approach routes to our galaxy for 15 years. What we have discovered will change how you think about the universe. The control center was filled with displays, showing the vast emptiness between galaxies. But as Claire adjusted the sensors, the emptiness revealed hidden movement. Massive shapes moved in the darkness between the stars. They were too far away to see clearly, but their size was obvious from the gravitational effects they created. How many are there? Zara Lynn asked as she studied the displays. A human technician named Beth Murphy answered from her station. Our best estimate is several 100,000 individual entities. Each one appears to be the size of a small moon. They move in coordinated groups that suggest a single controlling intelligence. Thaisara clicked her mandibles nervously. Admiral, if these readings are accurate, then we are facing an invasion force larger than anything in recorded history. Claire activated another display that showed detailed analysis of the entity composition. This is what really concerns us. These beings appear to be part organic and part artificial, just like our bioships. But instead of harmony between the two systems, they represent complete conversion. Everything they touch becomes part of them. Veltara studied the data with growing alarm. Dr. Thompson, how long do we have before they reach inhabited space? Based on their current speed and trajectory, we estimate 8 to 10 months before the first entities reach the outer colonies, Claire replied. But Admiral, there is something else you need to see. She led them to another section of the station where massive biocomputers processed incoming data. The living machines pulsed with thought as they analyzed patterns in the sensor readings. Maya Rodriguez was working directly with the computers through a neural interface similar to what they had seen on the Liberty. Admiral, Maya said, without opening her eyes, the computers have detected something disturbing about the entity movement patterns. They are not just moving toward our galaxy randomly. They are targeting specific systems that contain intelligent life. Kefira examined the biocomputer readings with her scanner. This technology is incredible. These organic systems can process quantum probability calculations that would require our largest computers months to complete. That is why we developed biointegration, Maya explained as she disconnected from the interface. Traditional computers think in straight lines. Biological systems think in patterns and possibilities. When you combine them, you get something that can understand complex systems, like galactic invasion routes. Amy Foster joined them from the station fighter bay. Admiral, we have been running combat simulations against these entities for months. Every scenario using traditional ships results in total defeat. The entities learn and adapt faster than any conventional military response. Only bio-integrated ships have shown any success in the simulations. Veltara felt the weight of command pressing down on her. The information was overwhelming, but she had to make decisions that would affect the entire galaxy. Captain Monroe, what exactly are you proposing? Lisa Monroe appeared on the communication screen from the Liberty. Admiral, we propose a full partnership between humanity and the Coalition. We will share our bio-integration technology with your fleets in exchange for full membership and equal representation in the galactic government. Together, we can prepare defenses that might save our civilizations. Nick Sandra stepped forward. Captain, what guarantee do we have that your technology will actually work against these entities? None, Lisa replied honestly. But Admiral, our simulations show that bio-integrated ships can adapt during combat in ways that confuse the entities. Traditional ships follow predictable patterns that the entities quickly learn to counter. Bio-ships think and react like living creatures, which makes them much harder to predict and defeat. Veltara made contact with the Coalition Council using the station long-range communication system. The response was immediate, but not encouraging. Several council members refused to believe the threat was real. Others worried that accepting human partnership would undermine Coalition authority. Elder Counselor Aldrich Starweaver spoke for the traditional faction. Admiral Moonwhisper, you are asking us to abandon thousands of years of established order based on claims from a species we barely understand. How do we know this is not some elaborate deception designed to force us into accepting human membership? Veltara looked at the displays showing the approaching entities and made a choice that would define her legacy. Counselor, I have seen the evidence with my own eyes. I have studied their technology and spoken with their scientists. The threat is real, and we do not have time for political games. Either we accept human partnership and prepare for war, or we face extinction. The debate that followed lasted hours. Some council members supported immediate action, while others demanded more time to study the situation. Meanwhile, the entities continued their approach toward inhabited space. Finally, Counselor Lyrelay Moonsong of the Progressive Faction spoke up. Admiral Moonwhisper, what is your formal recommendation? Veltara took a deep breath before answering. I recommend immediate full membership for humanity in the Coalition with emergency powers to coordinate galactic defense. I recommend beginning bio-integration upgrades for all Coalition fleets, starting with our most advanced ships. I recommend establishing joint human Coalition research facilities to develop new defensive technologies. And I recommend doing all of this immediately, because we may already be running out of time. The vote was closer than Veltara had hoped. The progressive faction supported her recommendations, but the traditional groups remained skeptical. In the end, the threat analysis provided by human scientists convinced enough council members to approve emergency measures. Captain Monroe received the news with visible relief. Admiral, we will begin sharing bio-integration procedures with your engineering teams immediately. We have already prepared technical manuals and training programs. With your permission, we would like to start with your flagship as a demonstration of the process. Veltara looked at her own ship through the station viewing port. The elegant bio-ship had served her well for many years. Soon it would be transformed into something new and more powerful. She hoped it would be enough to face what was coming. Captain Monroe, you have my permission to proceed, but I want to understand exactly what you are proposing to do to my ship, Maya Rodriguez answered from her position at the biocomputer interface. Admiral, we will not replace your ship systems. Instead, we will enhance them with human neural interface technology. Your ship will remain elven in nature, but it will gain the ability to bond more deeply with its crew. The result should be a vessel that combines the best of both our technologies. As the technical teams began planning the integration process, Veltara realized that the galaxy was about to change forever. The age of pure bioships and pure mechanical ships was ending. In its place would come something new that represented the best hope for survival against an enemy unlike anything they had ever faced. The bio-integration process took 3 weeks to complete. Veltara watched from the observation deck as human and elven engineers worked together to transform her flagship. Maya Rodriguez led the technical team with expertise that impressed even the most experienced coalition engineers. The work was delicate because they had to merge 2 different biological systems without destroying either one. Admiral, the neural interface installation is complete, Maya reported as she emerged from the ship core, covered in biogel from the integration process. Your ship is ready to begin consciousness bonding procedures. Are you prepared to be the first Elven officer to link with an integrated bioship? Veltara had volunteered to test the new systems personally. As Fleet Admiral, she would not ask her crew to take risks she was unwilling to face herself. The neural interface chamber had been grown specifically for Elven physiology, with crystalline formations that resonated with Elven brain patterns. Dr. Claire Thompson monitored the medical readings as Veltara settled into the organic chair that would connect her consciousness with the ship. Admiral, the interface will feel strange at first. Human officers describe it as suddenly being able to feel their entire ship as if it were their own body. For elves, the experience may be different because your natural telepathic abilities will interact with the ship consciousness. The connection activated slowly. First, Veltara felt the familiar presence of her ship mind that she had known for years. Then something new joined the link. The human neural interface technology allowed her to sense parts of the ship that had been hidden before. She could feel the power flowing through every system and sense the thoughts of her crew members throughout the vessel. "This is incredible," she whispered as the full integration completed. "I can feel everything. The ship is not just responding to my commands. It is thinking with me." Zaralyn was the second officer to test the new interface. Her reaction was even stronger than Veltara had experienced. "Admiral, I can sense space itself through the ship sensors. The navigation calculations are happening in my mind as fast as I can think them. This technology does not just improve our ships. It transforms how we interact with the universe." The first combat test came sooner than anyone expected. Long range. Sensors detected a scout entity that had arrived months ahead of the main invasion force. The creature was the size of a small asteroid and moved through space with purpose that suggested intelligence. Captain Monroe brought the liberty to join Veltara's enhanced flagship for the encounter. "Admiral, this will be our first chance to test bio-integrated tactics against an actual entity. Our simulations suggest that unpredictable movement patterns will be most effective." The entity appeared on sensors as a dark mass that seemed to absorb light and energy from the space around it. As the 2 ships approached, it began to change shape and emit energy pulses that disrupted normal ship systems. Traditional vessels would have been helpless against such interference, but the bio-integrated ships adapted in real time. Veltara felt her vessel learning about the entity threat and developing countermeasures faster than any computer could calculate. The ship consciousness worked with her thoughts to create new defensive configurations that the entity could not predict. Amy Foster led a squadron of biofighters from both ships in the first attack run. The hybrid craft moved like living creatures through space, dancing around the entity weapons in patterns that seemed random, but were actually guided by the instincts of their pilots. Traditional fighters would have been destroyed in the first exchange. But the biofighters adapted to each attack and survived. "Admiral, the entity is trying to convert our fighters," Dr. Claire Thompson reported from the Liberty Medical Bay, where she was monitoring the bio readings. "But the organic components are resisting the conversion process. The ships are actually learning to defend themselves against the entity influence." The battle lasted 4 hours and ended when the combined firepower of both fleets finally overwhelmed the entity defenses. But the victory came at a cost. Several biofighters were damaged, and 2 coalition crew members were injured when entity energy beams partially converted sections of the ship hull. Analysis of the encounter shows that bio-integration technology is effective, but not perfect, Maya Rodriguez reported during the post-battle review. "The entities can still damage our ships, and they learn from each encounter. We need to continue developing new tactics and technologies." Word of the successful test spread quickly through Coalition space. Ships began arriving at human shipyards for bio-integration upgrades. The process was complex and required careful coordination between human and alien engineers, but the results were impressive. Each species brought their own advantages to the integration process. Kefira led a team of reptilian engineers who specialized in heat management systems. Their bio-integrated ships could operate in extreme temperature environments that would destroy other vessels. Thaisara communication expertise helped develop bioships that could coordinate fleet actions through organic networks that were impossible to jam or intercept. The cultural exchange that accompanied the technical cooperation was just as important as the military preparations. Human and coalition crews learned to work together in ways that neither side had imagined possible. Kate Sullivan established translation protocols that allowed different species to share thoughts directly through the bioship networks. "Admiral, we are creating something new," Zara Lynn observed as she watched mixed crews training together. "This is not just humans joining the coalition or the coalition adopting human technology. We are becoming something that neither side could achieve alone." 6 months after the first contact, the main entity invasion force reached the outer rim of the galaxy. The combined fleets of humanity and the coalition met them at the threshold system, where the first major battle would determine the fate of all intelligent life in the galaxy. Veltara commanded the combined fleet from her enhanced flagship. Around her stretched the largest military force in galactic history. Bio-integrated ships from every coalition species flew alongside human vessels in formations that would have been impossible with traditional technology. "Admiral, entity forces are dropping out of hyperspace across multiple vectors," Thaisara reported as her enhanced communication systems tracked the massive invasion force. "I count over 50,000 individual entities, with more arriving every minute." The battle that followed would be remembered as the turning point in galactic history. The entities attacked with coordinated precision that overwhelmed traditional defensive strategies. But the bio-integrated fleets responded with creativity and adaptability that the entities could not counter. Ships that were damaged in combat evolved new defensive systems in real time. Pilots whose fighters were destroyed transferred their consciousness to replacement craft that grew from ship biosystems during the battle. Crews from different species shared thoughts and strategies through the bioship networks, creating tactical innovations faster than any individual mind could develop. Captain Monroe led a strike force of bio-integrated carriers that launched thousands of fighters directly from their living hulls. Amy Foster commanded biofighter squadrons that fought with instincts and creativity that confused entity targeting systems. Maya Rodriguez coordinated engineering teams that developed new weapons and defenses during the battle itself. The victory was hard-fought and costly. Many ships were lost, and thousands of crew members died defending their homes. But the bio-integrated fleets proved that the entities could be defeated when organic and artificial intelligence worked together in harmony. As the surviving entity, forces retreated into deep space. Veltara stood on her bridge and looked at the mixed crews celebrating their victory. Humans and elves worked side by side while reptilian and insectoid officers coordinated repair efforts with efficiency that would have been impossible before bio-integration. "Admiral," Zara Lynn said, as she approached with a status report, "The Council is asking for your assessment of the new partnership arrangements." Beltara smiled as she watched Captain Monroe coordinating rescue operations for damaged Coalition vessels. Tell the Council that humanity has not just joined the Coalition. They have helped create something better than what we had before. The galaxy will never be the same, and that is exactly what we needed. The age of pure bioships and pure mechanical ships was over. In its place had emerged a new form of civilization where organic and artificial intelligence worked together to face challenges that neither could handle alone. The entities would return eventually, but when they did, they would face a galaxy united by technology and purpose that made the impossible possible.